Welcome, welcome. So I said earlier before we went on the music break that I have this good gist for you. And what's the good gist? The gist is that if you need some essential oils, some herbal oils, yes. So I have a collaboration with my friend and my sister, my health and I. She has been my guest on the show before, Folashade Akpo Okagi. Yes, I know she reminded me. And she's doing a sale collaboration with us for our 1 year anniversary. So if you have any brand, any service that you want us to promote and you want to do a collaboration with us, you just send us a DM away. I says, yes, my sister all the way from the America is here. How are you doing, sister? Let's welcome our sis, our Life Matters. Welcome, sis. Woo! Yes, I am super excited today. And let me tell you another thing that makes me super excited. Should I show you? Yeah. Oh, yes. So we have our own mug. This is our Life Matters mug. So if you want us to be telling you all the juicy gist, I want us to sip some tea, it is there. So we have our Life Matters mug. Yes. This is our 1 year anniversary. Yes, so this is Life Matters for those that are on Instagram and for those that are on Facebook. Yes, so that's our Life Matters mug. And we have a pen. Yes, we have a pen. This is Life Matters. I don't know why the light might be a bit too much, but yes, this is the Life Matters pen and mug. And we'll be making more this was like a test run and it was super dope, and we're like, what if we do Christmas giveaways of this combo together? So yes, Life Matters is one, and we have a mug and we have a pen, and we are super excited to God. It has only been God 1 year. I didn't even believe that we would last 1 month. Even though people will believe in you, let me tell you, I have people that believed in me. And I have people that didn't believe in me, but the Lord passed everybody. It has been an amazing journey. I want to thank God. I want to give him all the glory, This song just comes to my head. You've been faithful, God. Let's use our bell. From the ages past, that is why your name, is forevermore. You've been faithful, God. You've been faithful, God. Woo! From the ages past, oh, that is why your name is forevermore. I am grateful to God. Oh, Life Matters is grateful to God. My team members are grateful to God. We are super grateful to God. God has been awesome. God has been amazing. God has been glorious. If there are any other words to say, but we thank God. We thank God for being there for us. God has been amazing. I don't have the words to say, His love is overflowing, mega blowing. I cannot tell it enough. His love is super amazing, and I am grateful to God. People, if you are grateful with me, just say, should we do the typical Yoruba thing and say Enyoluwa logo? For those that don't understand Yoruba, it is give glory to God. God deserves all the glory. Like, no man on earth should give glory to himself. All the glory must be to the Lord. So all the juicy gist is gonna be coming from this tea. We're gonna be sipping on the tea of the word, people. The tea of the word. We're gonna be sipping. Yes. So if you're not seeing this, yep. We're gonna be sipping from the tea of the word. We're gonna be sipping from the tea of people's story. We're gonna be sipping on the tea of the amazing Jesus. Hallelujah. So for those that are just joining me, like I said earlier, if this is your first time joining, we say another welcome. And also we're going to be saying a big congratulations to Life Matters and Adedire, and a big thank you to My Health and I for having a collaboration with us. So if you want to get essential oils, you can buy one and you get another for free. Can you see how amazing that is? That runs through the show. So every Wednesday we'll be having that that sale running every Wednesday. So you can't use that. The promo code is Life Matters on Adedire. You can't use that promo code for Thursday. You can only use for one day. So I am super excited, and I think my excitement is really high, people. My excitement is really a lot. So this morning I have an amazing guest. Yeah. So let me tell you how I met my guest. So a big brother here of mine had a concert, and I've always been part of his concert for the past, since 2015, basically 2014, 2015. And he came to minister in 2017, and he didn't have a backup. Like he came alone. So I'm like, someone approached me and said, oh, can you just help this person? Like, this person needs a backup. I was tired because I was singing with the person that organized the concerts group. I was singing with my church choir. I was singing with my other group. So I was singing with like 3 to 4 groups already. And they were like, Aanu, please, that I don't know who else come. I'm like, oh Jesus. I was tired, but I was like, okay, you know what? Let's just do it. And since that day, oh my God. I know I backed up for probably 6 people or 6 groups or something. But that was the day I met him. And he has been ever supportive. Oh my God. He has been like, that's the first and the only time I've seen him thus far. And he has been foreverly, if there's any word like that, foreverly supportive. And today he'll be talking. I know he's an Ajala travel. People they call Ajala travel, people that travel up and down, like they travel from here to here to here. So he's a gospel minister, he's a father, he's an amazing husband, and he will be telling us how he manages it. Because for me, I know I've had Minister Bumi Dada come on and tell us how she does it when we're talking about the power of a woman. Even though we might probably have one more series on men. And one of the things I want to talk about is a man's security. Please, I would love, if anybody's listening to me and has a guest that wants to talk about that particular topic, I have 2 topics that I want men to come on the show. Man's security, or married to a powerful woman. And the second one will be the father-daughter relationship. Oh my God. I would either want a man or I want a woman to come and talk about it, or a couple that have girls. So either way, or if you have a man that has a very good relationship with his daughter, or you have a lady that has a very good relationship with her father, I would love to have her on the show. So please, let's let it go out. So today I'll be having Minister Osas. I'll be adding him on the show right away. He has been a guest before, but that day was very wonderful. We had some technical issues and it was So today we're going to be having him talk about his experience as a father, as a minstrel. He can sing, he can worship, he can jump. He can do all those things, and that's one of the things that I wanted us to talk about. So how does he manage it? How does he manage it? You know, how because as a lady, like for me, I'm single and it's not easy to balance school, work, radio, music all together. And how does he manage it? Like, I still don't know how he does it. Because for me, I know that fathers are always very busy. How do you have time to even sit down with your children and play with them and laugh with them and talk with your wife? Is there a me time? You know, I was having that conversation one day with Minister Jumbo. Its sync connection failed. And I was asking that question with Minister Jumbo, and I was like, how do you manage it, sir? Like, I don't understand. You're always on the road. Either I'm seeing you in Dallas, or I'm seeing you in Idaho, I'm seeing here or there. And it's like, when he's out, he's out. When he's at home, he's 100% at home. He doesn't let home life disturb He doesn't let the home life be disturbed when he's at home, and he doesn't allow work life disturb anything when he's not around. Minister Osas, can you please send me a request? I don't know why I can't. Its sync connection failed. Welcome, my amazing people. So for those that are just joining us, let me say the announcement again before we have anything. So yes, we have our Life Matters mug. Yes, just like how we had an Adedire mug last month. We have this our anniversary mug, and we have our pen. We should have a final one very soon. This is just a prototype of what we're trying to do. So we have our mug and pen, and one of the things that I promised last week that we're gonna get our bell. Yes, so to invite our first timers. Yes, we have our bell, and we're excited. We're excited. We're excited. So today we're having Minister Osas. He's gonna be telling us how he does it, because for me, as I was saying, and I see a lot of men have that issue, like they don't want to look like the, you know, that we have some fathers that are present but are absent. Do you know? So they call them the absent, the presently absentee fathers. Yeah, that's what we call them. They're at home, but they're more or less not at home because they're either busy doing one work or the other. Mr. Osas, I'm still expecting your request. I'm trying to add you up, but yeah, so it's in connection failed. Can you probably will try Instagram, then you can come on the Life Matters page and we can add you on the Life Matters page. So today we're going to be talking about it, but one of the things I wanted to share with us before Minister Osas comes on the live, so that you don't be you're not present as a father but you're still absent, we'll run along and we'll look at the life of Samuel. Yes, Samuel as a father. Before we go to Samuel, let's start with Eli. You know, one of the things that, okay, so we're gonna be talking with Minister Osas, but before I have him, oh hallelujah,
praise Jesus.
Facebook is always wonderful. The last time I had Minister Osas, the spirits in the network of the area that he was did not want us to shine, but don't punish devil.
Yes, so yes, so yes, so I
How
hope
are
you
you
can
doing,
hear me.
sir?
I'm good. I hope you can hear me loud and clear, though.
Very, very perfect.
Try. There is God. Oh, ah,
Oh
man,
my
this is good.
God! Welcome, sir. How are you doing?
And
How was your day? How was your well? How's your morning been? That's what I will say.
I don't know why I keep forgetting that you guys are 1 hour behind. Why does that happen all the time, anyways?
Well, you
But
want me to be in Ontario? Don't worry. The Lord will bring us to Ontario.
yes, so I know you got to come over here. Oh. I
Why?
think you have a
Why?
bigger fan base up here.
Why is everybody telling you to come to Ontario?
Ah,
When the Lord carry my ministry to Ontario, you'll be the first to know.
okay. I'm
Um,
expecting. I'm expecting. But I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
how's
I'm
your
all right.
family?
Family's good, you know. We thank
Your
God.
beautiful
You know.
wife. But see, people, ministers of this our Jesus Christ, they like beautiful.
I, I know
Don't
you
even have
don't.
any comment. Mm-mm, mm-mm. It's like in the place of worship, there's something that happens there. That's
In
what I
fact,
can say.
when it comes to marriage, we worship with our eyes open.
So I wanted to I was thinking about the topic. Okay, I think I have to put on this page.
Yeah.
Seriously, your husband too did the same thing. My sister there, she's a very beautiful lady, oh, very powerful, loaded lady. She can sing fire. But all these are our uncles in the Lord. They just see the beautiful sister and they just keep doing, we worship you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. It's like they've opened it already.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So, Mr. Osas, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do in your spare time? How do
Mm.
you unwind after all those traveling?
Man, that's actually a very good question. Spare time, a number of things. In my spare time, I just decide to shut everything down, relax. It could be watching a movie.
Okay.
It could be spending time with the kids, you know. I really like my time with the kids. Um, it could be a number of things. It could just be going for a walk, you know, to just take nature in, you know. A number of things I just do to unwind, but when I'm home, I'm home. When I'm not doing anything ministry, I take my mind off it and just relax. Because there's time, like the Bible say, for everything, you know.
Mm, mm.
Uh, Yeah.
So do you like? Are you a football person or hockey? Like you do in this part of the world? Or
Um, I'm a Nigerian man, so hockey and all that sport is not for us. Soccer, I know the main sport
mm,
is football. They
the
call it
Lord is
soccer, yeah,
good.
but the Lord is awesome. Football, soccer. You know, I'm an Arsenal fan. If you don't know, Arsenal
Oh
fan.
man,
Yeah, so I'm an
I didn't
Arsenal
know.
fan.
I didn't know that team still plays. You know, I didn't
Oh,
know.
come on, come
No,
on.
it's just my own. It's just my own observation. You know.
We're winning the league this year. Just take note of that. And I still follow their games. In fact, my typical Saturday
Okay.
is I wake up in the morning,
Okay.
I clean the house from top to the basement,
Oh,
sweep, mop.
men,
Um,
men, are you listening? Are you listening?
actually, my wife can actually attest to all these things I'm saying, so it doesn't sound like I'm making it up. Wake
Amazing.
up on a Saturday morning, start cleaning the house from the top all the way to the basement. I'll vacuum, mop, get the kids, get their dirty clothes, put
Mm?
them in the laundry, wash them up, and then ready for breakfast. You know, put the breakfast on the table, and
You
then
deserve some accolade. Whoa,
I'm telling you, you
because I
guys be
know a lot of
rushing.
men, because
Yeah.
Mr. Osas, I know a lot of men that won't do that too. Like, they won't. To be very sincere with you,
Mm,
they will say, since their wife is around, the wife can still do it. They're supposed to rest. And I'm like, if she has been doing this all this while that you were not around, why can't you
mm,
just arise and shine? Like, shine for the first time.
mm. I think sometimes some of the things that we do is actually lack of proper understanding.
Mm.
Um, your ministry actually starts from the home front.
Preach,
Uh,
sir. Woo!
and
Oh,
if
oh.
you
Oh,
fail,
stop giving me nuggets.
if
Mm.
you if you
Mm.
fail as a man to hold your home front very well, then you're not worthy to be a minister. So no matter where you go to, no matter what height you attain in ministry, if you don't put the home front in the proper perspective, you're more or less deemed as a failure. Because before you are a minister, you're a husband.
Mm.
Before being a minister of God, you're a husband and you're a dad. So those are the things I have at the back of my. As crazy as my schedule looks,
Mm.
people really don't know, but people who know me deep down, who know me close by, know that I'm very, very homely. Very. When I'm home, I'm home. I roll on the floor with the kids, play with them, do whatever I need to do because I know that I may not have all that time with them. But again, we'll get to all that in terms of
Mm.
balancing schedules and all that. But
Mm.
you got to keep the home front in proper perspective.
In
Because
proper
if a
perspective.
happy wife makes a happy minister, you know.
Oh, oh, people! I am loving my guests for this month are going to be very, very wonderful. Like, a
Yep.
happy wife makes a happy minister. Oh, oh.
Yes. Yes.
People don't
Yeah.
understand why I'm happy like this. You can't understand because I have heard a lot of women complain about this thing. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of women complain about it, how their husbands come from like either this administration or that administration, and the only thing he wants to either hear is food or sex or like not even how are you doing? How are the
Yeah.
children? Did they even
Yeah.
miss me? No.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
can I help you with? Mba.
Yeah. And just to jump in a little bit, I was recently on tour to the UK for almost 3 weeks. In fact, that's the longest I've been away from my family. You know what? Yes, the heart and soul is in the ministry, but I was missing my family like crazy. Every moment, like something was just not complete while I was there. Yeah, the ministry front was going well, but I kept calling them like, exactly. I kept calling them like all the time. I would check up on the kids, see how they're doing, check up on my wife would be at work, but I'll keep calling them all the time. And I just think that the way you prepare your home also speaks volume of how you prepare for ministry. So once I get back from ministry, I switch into that family mode right away. I don't waste time. I switch into that mode. So that's why I said, not just Saturday. Mine is not just Saturday. Every day when I'm home, I'm always cleaning. In fact, my wife said I'm a clean freak. I'm always sweeping, always cleaning. This is what I think. Being a man and doing those things doesn't take anything away from you.
It doesn't reduce you.
It doesn't make you less of a person. It doesn't take the respect away from you as a man. It takes absolutely no. I'm telling you, I bathe my kids myself. I will bathe them, do their laundry. In fact, this morning I already got them ready for school. My wife was already at work. I got them ready for school, packed their lunch and all whatnot, sent them on their way, waiting for them to come back in the afternoon as well to get their lunch or whatever they'll eat ready for them and all whatnot. These are if you can't balance family and ministry, then you're not ready for it. That's just the reality. That's just the reality. That's just reality right there.
So, I wanted to talk about this one person that we know in the Bible, so popular, Eli. And we saw how his children turned out to be.
Yes.
Now, in our day and age, we're growing up. I personally knew that a lot of PK's children were always the bad boys in my class. Because even though their parents were very good, I know one of the things that I remember that when I was watching this lady, Sarah Jacobs, Sarah Roberts, TD Jakes' daughter. She said even though she was the daughter of the great TD Jakes that was life transforming and everything for her, the number one problem was that it didn't matter when she like had the child she had out of wedlock, and even though she was listening to everything her parents would say, did this, did that, she still wanted to enjoy and see what life was about. And for me, I'm like, really, it's kind of very difficult when it comes to, like, for me, I feel like when you're in ministry, your children will understand, your children will blend in. But when I look at the life of Eli, even though they were serving in the temple themselves, they were, should we call them the worst? They will be sleeping with the ladies of the temple in front of the temple. So is there a I'm sorry, is there a priestly generational trend when it comes to raising our kids?
That's a serious question right there. You know what? These things work for people differently. The Bible really didn't record how much spiritual time Eli invested in his children. All we know was that he was serving in the temple, and the kids were doing what they did. Our prayer is that as we raise these children in the way of God, that they will follow. But again, they get to a certain age where they have to make decisions of their own, just like me and you. And your prayer as a parent at that time is that, the amount of work I must have put in there, that it should be enough to make him, live the life of God. But sometimes it goes the other way. It doesn't necessarily mean that you were a bad parent. And we also do not know if Eli was a bad parent. If he didn't invest the spiritual time, we don't know. So sometimes it's some pastors' children that turn, and they are the most misunderstood set of people, pastors' children, ministers' children, because they're always under a lot of pressure, right? People want them to be like their dad. And so sometimes they explode because no one really understands them.
Hmm.
So it's a lot of things going on in there with each of them. We
Hmm.
just have to, I think the place of prayer cannot be overemphasized. You know,
Hmm.
I'm from a family of five.
Hmm.
My younger brother was not always, yeah, we were brought up in the way of God and things like that, but he wasn't always straight with the things
Hmm.
of God. He was always, the wayward one and things
Hmm.
like that. Not that my parents didn't teach him the Bible and all whatnot. So, but today he's still, I mean, he's back in faith and things like that. So the life journey takes you to a lot of places. So I don't think necessarily when things happen that parents were a failure or
Hmm.
it had anything to do with the office that they occupy.
Hmm.
So it turns out in different ways. But our prayer is that as we do these things and as we invest in our children, they will eventually, live the life that God expects of them, not the life we expect,
Hmm.
from them.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's where prayer
Be-
is. So I
because
do
that's
all,
that's a
yeah,
different scenario though.
yeah,
Like you have an expectation of your kids as a father, but
yes,
it is your willingness to put those expectations in God's hands and say, God, whatever
hmm,
you want these kids to be, I surrender. It's
that's
not
right.
like, oh, because I can sing, my
Hmm.
parents have to, hi, Minister Glenn. It's not that, oh, since my parents or since I am a music minister, my children have to play 3, 4 instruments. Do you
Absolutely,
understand? So I
absolutely.
think that's where there's a thin line when
Hmm.
it comes to
Hmm.
parenting and God's and
Yeah,
God's will.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because for example, my oldest son plays the drums. In fact, you listen to him play, you'll be amazed for his
Mm,
age. I
mm,
love that. But I also tell him all the time, you have to balance it with your book and
mm,
also with the things of God.
mm.
It's my job as a parent to do all these things and guide him and also to still pray for him because
True.
he'll get to a certain age where he would make his own decisions based
Mm,
on some of the things that we must have said before.
mm,
So I don't necessarily think that every time kids turn out bad, it means that the parents were bad. It's not all the time. So sometimes, like you said, Sarah Jakes, I've listened to her story. She
mm-hmm.
thought, okay, why don't I venture out and I've been under my dad's whatever all the while.
Shadow
Let
for
me
a very
venture
long time. Yeah.
exactly. Let me venture out and see what's out there. Kids of my age are having fun. I'm not having fun, and things like that. It's a lot of pressure on them as they grow up. But our job is to keep praying, keep praying. You know.
And I think that a lot of us have ventured out in one way or the other. I think one thing most people have that's always a little bit different is when you come back.
Yes.
And what
Yes.
happens when you venture out? Like for her, she ventured out and she had a baby. For some people, they don't have any babies, but the
That's
things
right.
they've done through their venturing out, they
That's
would have
right.
saved that time to do more
Mm-hmm.
things for God. Their growth
Yes.
or their maturity in Christ might have been different if they had
Mm-hmm.
not ventured
Mm-hmm.
out. But
Mm-hmm.
there's sometimes I say, like I remember that while I was growing up and life was happening, and God said some of the things you do or some of the things that you think, oh, I've done this mistake, oh, I've spoken to this person. There are things that when you get to a certain level,
Mm-hmm.
you know that you didn't do it for you. And I was wondering until I start having interactions with certain number of ladies, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you've gone through this. Wow. Well, I
Mm-hmm.
went through when I was in secondary school, and this is what
Mm-hmm.
happened. This is how I went through it. So
Mm-hmm.
it comes back to what's the purpose of even what you go through. Sometimes God seeks you to understand the essence of going through that thing, and I think
Yes.
it becomes a testimony at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even our walk with Christ, at most of the time we will fall,
Yes.
you pick yourself up again, and then you keep moving. It
Mm.
doesn't mean that you're gonna be perfect till you get to heaven, you know. But
And the
Christ,
good thing is, sorry, sir. And the good thing
yeah,
is, Christ will not even look at those things against you. Like, he will not, because of your past, make you
yes.
feel no. It won't.
Absolutely. Absolutely correct. Because Christ died for the sin that we committed before, the one we're committing today, and the one we will still commit tomorrow.
He has
He
already.
already paid the price for it all.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
yeah. So,
God bless you, sir. So I
yeah.
want to talk about the balance. Now,
Mm.
okay, before I even go to the balance, what's your itinerary like for a month? What does it look like?
Well, I'm growing as an artist, and I'm learning to plan better as I grow. Sometimes you're looking at 4, 5, you know, events in a month. Sometimes it's a little more than that, but I try to also cut it down so it doesn't take the whole time. Because if I attend to every single event that I get, then I might have very little family time. So, which is not something I would want. So, sometimes we're looking at maybe 4 events a month. Sometimes it could be 5. But I'm learning to plan better. I'm asking questions, seeking opinions. I'm looking at people up there in the industry and trying to find out how they also plan schedules, because we're always in a place of learning. We're always learning, and nobody really knows it all. So there's always someone you look up to as a mentor. So you look at him. How, for example, I give you an example. William McDowell has 5 kids. So I always ask myself, how does he plan his schedule with family, kids, and ministry? And the man still travels, so there's got to be something in there that he's doing that is right. So I do researches and things like that. So I make sure that the home front doesn't suffer. It's very important, very, very important. So yeah, that's what it looks like in a month. In a month right now.
You use the example of William McDowell, and what comes to my mind is there are times where I think we when we look at people like that, you can't wrap your head around it, because he's a singer, he's a pastor, like he has his own ministry, he's an author, he's everything in one, and you wonder how these people balance it. But that takes me to my next question. How important is who you marry when you're in ministry? Because one of the things you said was a happy wife makes a happy minister. And I know a lot of women that have been caught in this mix, like they're always everywhere.
Yes.
I remember when I met Minister Nosario, and she was like, "Aanu, my babies are missing me. Like, I have not left them for this long." And she was like, "Oh my God, like they can't wait to see me. They call me every day." And in my mind, I'm seeing a very, very happy, cheerful, like she just wants to be home and play with her kids. But for me, she had that support because her husband was there. And it's the same thing that I always make jest of my friend and sister Priscilla, and I'm like, your husband is trying. She's like, let me just travel, he can be at home. And I'm like, what if he's the one traveling? She's like, I know, he should not travel. That I'm the one that should travel. And in my mind, I'm like, we only say these things because we have supportive, like, spouse or partners. So how important is the support of your partner when it comes to your ministry?
Now, this is where everything hangs on. This is actually what holds the whole thing together. If you miss it there, then you've totally missed it all. Because I know a few people in the industry who at the beginning they had a very, very thriving career as a music minister, but then ended up getting married and the whole thing came crashing down. So this is where the whole thing is. If you miss it there, you've completely missed it. So now I can't overemphasize what it means to marry the right person if you are going to fulfill the call of God in your life. I can't overemphasize it. Now, before we got married, these were some of the things that we talked about. This is my call. This is my vision. This is who I am. And this might come up at some point. I mean, things like traveling might come up at some point. Now, if you don't have a spouse that understands what you're trying to do, you will end up spending a lot of energy explaining to her or him about your mini. In fact, you might spend the rest of your life trying to,
Convince the
explain or
person.
convince the person about what you are trying to do. And by so doing, you just miss the whole thing. Now, he, for example, one of my singers she was telling me recently, she's like, you know what? I know I want to get married, but
Okay.
whoever I want to get married to must be able to understand that I love traveling. I love music. I love doing, and this is somebody that works with a lot of people in the industry. I love doing music. So you have to lay the cards out at the beginning. It may not necessarily be the music ministry. It could be whatever career you have. If your spouse or your partner doesn't understand why you do what you're doing, then there will be trouble at some point. There will be trouble. So this is something that me and my wife would talk about all the time. It's constant communication. For example, 2019 is around the corner. Probably somewhere around December or early January, we start mapping out the schedule. What does the year look like? I already know that every August I go on tour to the UK. So that's something we already know. Okay, what do we do with the kids while you're on tour? And things like that. So communication has to be properly spelled out. And communication in the first place won't be there if he or she doesn't
agree
understand
to you even going to ministry.
to what you're about to do, or you being in the ministry. So if at the point of courting or being in the relationship, you see all those red flags, there might be trouble. You may marry the right person, but you might not fulfill your dream.
So give us a tiny penny gist. How did you meet your wife?
Okay. I guess I'm one of the most blessed. I don't like using the word lucky. I'm one of the most blessed people on the surface of the earth. Now, my uncle happens to be my wife's godfather, and he lives here in Canada. That's how we met. So, so he back then he's like, no, this girl has to marry from my family, so one way or the other. So, and then he started praying about it because he's a pastor, right?
Okay.
So it took him a whole year of praying about it and seeking the face of God. And then when he finally got that release, that was when he introduced us. And then we started talking back and forth, and things like that. And here we are today.
Wow. And you married for how many years now?
And that's how we met. Not like I met her somewhere. She's been here. She came to Canada somewhere at age 5.
Oh.
So she's lived here all her life. And the only time she ever came to Nigeria was when we got married.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's amazing.
But she's always been somebody that has a heart for God. And she said she kept praying to God to give her a man that will not take her away from God. So
Mr. Osas came the way. Hallelujah, people.
Praise Jesus.
We bless the Lord. We bless the Lord.
We bless the Lord, Aanu.
We bless the Lord. We don't have any other comment, but we bless the Lord.
Yes,
so as a young person that wants to start up in ministry and is saying, oh, I have my career, my parents sent me to school, there's no how I will leave all these 9-10 years of schooling and go for this. How do you get that release to be a full-time minister?
For somebody who wants to become a music minister, and the person still has a career,
yes,
you have to be patient. It requires a lot of patience. I was just talking to somebody yesterday. I said, look, everybody thinks that the Travis Grains of this world, the Phil Thompsons of this world just blew up overnight. That's not true. These guys have been doing music since
Over
God
20
knows
years.
when.
Yeah.
So God wants to see how consistent you are and how diligent you are with what he gives to you. It's just like the parable of the talents. He gave 1 5 to trade with, and he gave one, and he went to hit it instead of trading with it. So he wants to see how you are consistent with what you're doing. Now, that being said, it's a lot of patience. You can start off branching out and still keep your career. So don't just get on it right away. I want to be a music minister. I'm just going to throw my job in the ocean and then rush into it. It is not by, I'm not boasting or bragging, but I have been doing ministry even in Nigeria before coming here. It took me a little bit of time. When I first came here, at first I was going to go do background singer for a lot of people here in the industry just to learn the terrain and everything, because I knew this was where I am going to be leaving.
So
So
knowing your purpose is very important also.
you have to know your purpose, but then you need wisdom to also follow your purpose. Because when I started, the first year when I started, I probably only got maybe 1 or 2 invites a year to come minister. But that didn't really deter me. I still kept doing what I was doing and stayed with God. So if you want to become a music minister, keep your career, your present career, and start branching out little by little. You know, every independent artist now are generally self-promoted. So put your stuff out there, maybe get 1 single, put it out there, promote it, get it to as many ears as possible, and while you still keep your job, then you can start off by doing ministry on the weekend and things like that. And slowly, God will always take you through a process. It doesn't happen overnight. So don't expect God to just dump it all on you. Oh, okay. You started yesterday. Oh, today you become a superstar. Well, that's not God. And I have not seen that happen so far anywhere. So you can still keep your career and still be a music minister, but then apply a lot of caution and wisdom. Because I've known a few people who threw away their career all because the motive is already twisted, because you're thinking, I'm going to get into this thing and become an instant hot shot or make a lot of money in about a month or 2 or something like that. So you're probably treading the wrong path right there. It doesn't work like that. So you can build things little by little. God always starts from the bottom. He doesn't start from the top. So it takes you through a process. So everything that's happening I went to Ireland for the first time this year. I've broken some new grounds this year. I went to some places for the first time this year, but you have to stay with the vision, stay with it, and just keep moving, keep moving. But you can keep your career and still be a music minister.
You know, one of the things I think kills our generation, especially our younger generation, is comparison.
Yes.
And comparison kills. Like, one of the disadvantages of comparison is that you're looking at someone else's ladder and you're believing that you're supposed to be there already, but you don't understand the person's process.
Yes.
You know, one of the things that fascinates me about God when I was about to start this was when he said, I want people to share their stories, and I want other people that going through that same process to understand what it looks like to walk through that path. And for me, I've interviewed or I've had a chat with not less than 40 to 50 guests, and a lot of things that stand in key is, number one, talk about the process, talk about the grace of God. And another thing that people talk about is comparison. You know, our generation compares everything. Oh, see the person next door. Oh, see what this lady's wearing. Oh, see her Instagram viewers. Oh, see her this. Oh, see her that. And the moment you start comparing yourself with another person, which the Bible already said it's being foolish. The
Yeah.
moment you start comparing, ministers says, you know that most time people that start comparing, they start forgetting what's on their lane.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I am, let's say I'm supposed to be reaching out to people in Nigeria or reaching out to people in Edmonton.
Yes.
But because I see that somebody in Ontario is doing so well, I begin to compare myself with the person. Now, that makes me forget, who did God send me to? Why did God send me to them? When did God say I should go to them? Because the moment I start to compare myself with, see Oprah Winfrey, she's already this, or see this person, I forget the message, I forget the giver, and I forget the crowd God is telling me to go and meet. So I think a lot of times the reason why people get off their purpose path. I'm not supposed to be preaching.
And you know what? You just hit the nail on the head. Comparison is one of the things that eats a lot of dreams and vision very, very easily. Now, actually, my wife is even watching this. She's comparison, like I said. So here's the thing with comparison. You look at somebody else's work with God and their dream, and you try to liken what you're doing to that person, not knowing that God has a very different plan and purpose for you. And let's be very honest, every one of us has it in us. Everybody.
Yes.
Let's be very honest. It might not be as much as the next guy. It might not be as much as the next lady, but we all have it one way or the other. Oh, I would have loved my own Instagram page to have like 1 million. I was looking at Nathaniel Bassey's Instagram followers. I'm like, 1 million? You kidding me? How did he get that? So that thing is always there, but you always constantly have to call yourself to order. Because where God, now there are some people Nathaniel Bassey would reach that you can't reach, and there are people that you can reach that Nathaniel Bassey might not or may never reach. There's a church I'm going to very soon. It's a community church where I'm going to minister. I don't know if they have ever heard about Nathaniel Bassey. He might not get there, but God has positioned me to be here at this time to be used of him. So everywhere you find yourself, there's a work and there's a journey and there's a reason why God placed you in that place. So trying to compare yourself is another way of telling God, well, I'm not really after what you're doing. I'm looking at what this guy is doing. You should be doing this for me right now, God. This is what I expect you to be doing for me right now. So it's in every one of us, but we always have to bring it. You know, we have to checkmate it at all times. And I mean, we can be inspired, but not compare ourselves to anyone. It has killed a lot of dream, because then you find people trying to put their hands into things that they can't afford. For example, you see maybe Nathaniel Bassey came out with $1 million what video.
Let's even say he releases an album.
An album, okay. Maybe he came out with.
Does that.
He does. Then you have to go and release an album too. Meanwhile, God is telling you, just release that single. That one single is all I require from you. You know, so this is, people start putting their hands in things that they can't afford, and then some people even go bankrupt because they're trying to measure up. You know, you want to spend that amount of money. You know, you want to dress like that person, or you're constantly, looking at that person as a way to measure what you're doing. So it has killed a lot of dreams for sure. For sure, it has killed a lot of dreams. And I've always tried to call myself to order all the time. As much as I'm inspired by what other people are doing, I try to put myself in check. I have a purpose and a dream to fulfill. I can't compare myself to anyone. You're uniquely made by God.
You know what you said is just key. Whatever God has sent you, wherever he has sent you to, whoever he has sent you to, just go. You know,
Yeah.
this morning, one of my favorite preachers, Kian Anderson, said something. He said he stepped out, and I'll say this. Then I think Instagram is saying we have 1 minute left. Then we'll come back online. But I'll say it before we go. So he said he wanted to go, and his wife emptied their kids' closets and wanted to go and give it to charity. And when he got there, they're not open. They were open 9 o'clock. He thought 8 o'clock. So, and he was supposed to go to the gym for 9 o'clock. So he's like, he can't wait. And he saw this woman outside standing there. He said his spirit kept pushing him to speak to the woman, but he was like, okay, let me just speak to her, not knowing that this man was waiting for them to open the door. And he emptied the entire thing. He came to give the charity to this woman. And our children and all the family came out and were crying. They were thanking him. And he was like, whoever God has sent you to, you just do it. Listen to that voice. Listen to God whenever and wherever it is. It doesn't matter if it will make sense. There are times where I struggled. Last year and a little bit of this year, I struggled. I wanted to do another single. And God said, no, it's not yet time. And I kept struggling. I kept struggling. I kept talking to this producer. And God kept saying, no, I am not ready for this. I am not ready for this. So it is very important that even when you have the song, even if you have the artwork, even if you have the rap, is God telling you to go ahead with it? If God didn't send you message, don't do it. Who am I that you're so mindful of me? I can't explain this love so deep. I'm amazed at your love for me. When I'm thirsty, you feel me. When I'm in need, you supply for me. You're my shield from the enemy. You are everything to me. Oh, you are everything to me. Chokonalo benel benel benel. Elishi enuya benel. Chokonalo benel benel benel. Lord, I've come to say benel. Oh, who am I? Who am I? Who am I that you're so mindful of me? Love so deep, I can't explain. I'm amazed at your love for me. When I'm thirsty, you feel me. When I'm in need, you supply for me. You're my shield, my shield. The enemy, you are everything to me. You are everything to me. Chukunalum bene Oh, welcome, sir.
Yes, yes, yes,
I was
Aanu.
I was gonna do some music break and do it gets the glory, but I'll do that after the show.
Right,
Or
right.
that we finish discoursing. So you were saying something. We're talking about people compare. Was it comparison?
Comparison. Yeah,
Yes, comparison.
comparison. Yeah.
And yeah, I was saying that one of the things that gets to me most times is the obedience part of God. You know, it's very easy to be the big star, to have a wonderful family, to have a supportive, amazing spouse, and just not obey and just calculate everything. You know, there is this new movie that Montana did. It's called Ewaino, and it means inner beauty. And it just shows that the Holy Spirit was taken out of a ministry, and the wife was trying to do everything possible to bring people to their church. So she dressed funky. She's doing excess makeup. She's wearing this mini this. She's wearing this short this. She's wearing this armless this, just to bring more members to the church. And the Lord showed the husband a vision that she was basically fetching water into a basket. And you know, I was telling my mom, I said, when it comes to a point where you just ask God, am I actually serving you, or I'm fetching water into a basket? You know, it's a very, very, very important question, so that you don't do all these things and
Exactly.
you know, it's
That's deep.
important.
That's very deep right there. That's
So
very, very deep.
everything we do, let's know that, or let's put in place the place of the Holy Spirit. It's very important. The Holy Spirit.
See, the thing is, it's so easy to get caught up with trying to. It's like a rat race, trying to compare yourself with other people and what they're doing. It's so prevalent in everything that we do. And like I said, everybody has it one way or the other. Either you look at yourself and you say, oh, maybe I'm not, maybe I need to do more. Maybe I'm not making headway. Maybe I need to. How about, man, Travis Green is going on tour, like 20 countries. What am I even doing here? How far have I gone? You know, not knowing that there's a different agenda for your ministry, you know, but you're here trying to twist God into doing what he's doing for that or that guy. So, and that doesn't work. That's why you see a lot of times some people are actually doing their own thing, not what God asked them to do.
True.
You know, they may look like they're making headways, but some ministries have actually even crashed land. They crashed landed because they kept on doing their own thing, or they kept on comparing themselves with another person, and they felt that they need to put more into it. Like I said, some people will go bankrupt because they want to shoot the most clinical video, or they want to I don't know. I do the best that I can with the resources that I have. You know, I can't expect, what's his name? Tim Godfrey would spend millions of dollars, or, you know, into one particular video. Maybe I can only invest, maybe I can only, maybe I can only invest $1,000.
But bros, if you look at Tim, he really does videos.
Of course.
Bulk of his videos are inside the studio.
Yes.
You think he doesn't have money for frizzle bizzle?
Yes. Actually, somebody told me last year that he brought Kirk Franklin to Nigeria cost him about almost 90 million or something like that. Somebody was telling me that's a lot of money, Aanu. You know, if I put 1,005 or 2,000 into a music video, man, I don't try, you know, I got to give myself, that is what I can afford. So I keep it there. And that's what God has graced me with at that time. So I stay with that. And for me, the testimonies that comes after the ministry is more important to me than any other thing. You know, how you are impacting people with what you're doing. Just like this show that you have on, I've been following it, man. I've been listening. Sometimes I'll go back and replay some of the guests because I like to pick ideas from people on how to better myself. Nobody has it all, you know. So it's never a wise thing to compare yourself.
God bless you, sir. So let's now go back to now in your relationship with your children. How did you sit them down and say, okay, daddy is a minister, he does this, he does that. If you see him on a flyer or a billboard, like how did you have that sit down? Because I know that kids too also want their dad, they want to talk, they want to gist, they want to have that interaction with them, with him. But did you have that sit down with them, or were they too young, or when did you have a sit down with them?
Well, my oldest is getting to understand more because he's always calling me Minister Osas. He's always calling that name. So sometimes you...
Oh my God, children are amazing.
He's getting to understand. Sometimes I'll be going out the door. He'll be like, are you going to another church today? I'm like, yeah. Another church means I'm going to go minister somewhere. So I haven't had a full conversation with him yet because he's 8. But that time would definitely, but he already has an understanding because he watches some of my videos on YouTube and things like that. So he already has an understanding that, man, this guy actually goes out, you know, to do ministry and things like that. But there will be a time when I'll do a full sit down conversation with him so he can understand better. You know, definitely the time is coming. Yeah.
That's very so now let's come to the balance. Where do you what are the things you put in or you do to balance both the ministry and the home front so that one doesn't suffer over the other?
Yeah, what we do in our household, we talk. We talk. I mean, if, for example, I mentioned going to the UK on tour, it's become a yearly thing for me now to be there in August. So at the beginning of the year, we sit down and talk. I haven't gotten to the point yet when I know all the ministry schedule for the whole year. Some will come in maybe in the middle, along the way. Some will come pretty early because they know what their calendar is for the year. So what we try to do is we sit down with the wife and we look at it and say, okay, at this month or that month, I will be away. For example, 2 events I'm very, very sure of that I always go for. Joseph Experience, which I just came back from. And the tour to the UK. Those 2 I know, and I know those particular time of the year. So we already know. And then we talk about it. So if we have like maybe family trips to plan, okay, we can look at the calendar and say, okay, at so time, we can, it might not even be traveling. It might maybe just be maybe going for sightseeing and things like that. And so you have to make the calendar your friend. You have to be friendly with the calendar, and then talk. Don't be a solo guy. If you're a music minister, you know, you're the one that takes the invitation. You're the one that determines it, and the wife doesn't know anything about it. So that means you're treading on a dangerous ground. So bottom line is we talk. I mean, she knows that this is what my life revolves around. So we talk about it. Try to map and navigate what the year would look like. So January is a very crucial month for us. We'll write down the goals, write down the vision, and see what. Then the ones that come along the way, also still let her know. And the good thing is if you have a couple who supports what you do, in most cases, they won't say, oh, you're not going for that, whatever. You know, maybe because this one came in late. But the fact that you told her or you're able to sit down with her shows that you respect her or you respect him. So, and then if there's nothing in that particular day, then you guys can come to a consensus. Okay, I'm taking this trip or I'm doing this, but a lot of communication has to go in there. For some people, it is strategizing somewhere in the middle. For some people, it is at the beginning of the year. Like she's also a speaker. She speaks at events too, So, for example, if she gets one close by, maybe, okay, you're speaking at our event next month. We'll sit down and talk. Do we go together or should I stay home with the kids? Are you required to come there alone? We'll talk about all that. And if she's required to go alone, I'll stay home with, the kids. And so talk, communication, very, very essential. Number one.
Okay. Any other
Well, I would say, especially for music ministers, or minstrels, I want to say here that you can do ministry and still have an amazing family. It is very, very possible. The people doing it are not crazy. The grace comes from God. But then, in the first place, who you marry is key to actually following that path in a successful way. Because if you start off wrong by marrying the wrong person, like I said before, they may be supportive for a while, but it is really not their thing, because maybe some people are very possessive. They want you at home all the time. I don't know, it's different for everyone, but if the conversations are there at the beginning and the person knows that this is what your ministry is. Okay, for some people it's different. Okay, maybe for some artists, maybe they already were famous before they got married. So now the person coming into their life already knows that this person is famous already.
I wanted to talk about that when you're done. I want to talk about that.
Yeah, so they already know that this person is famous already. So now you, as a famous artist, trying to get married is even tougher there, because now you're trying to look for somebody who understands you and will align with what you're doing. It is different. I mean, I look at some guys like Vashon Mitchell and I'm like, man, how do these guys do it? But it's a whole different thing from if maybe you were already married and then you came into the business. And then it's easier that way because the person already knew you and knew what you stand for before you came in there. So it's two different ball games. For mine was this other one before I got to where I am. Well, I was already doing ministry anyways before we met. So, but then I had to have all these conversations with her about what my dreams are. Because my dream has always been to, travel, do this thing. This has been my dream. So I mentioned all that stuff at the beginning, and she knows, and she knows all these things, and she knows where my heart is. So they're two different things from if you're already famous and you're looking to get married. Well, that one you have to work hard because now you're looking for the right person to really believe in what you're doing for genuine reasons, because some people might tell you they're coming into your life to support, but if
they get there
and they get there is more trouble. And then there are other questions like, should you marry somebody who's in the music industry? Should you marry somebody who knows music? It gets complicated as you go. Okay. So
you mentioned something which I want to talk about, and it's as a single person.
Yeah.
Let me take the amazing Jonathan McReynolds.
Yes.
He's not married, and so far we've not. And most times when I see people like that, I know they always marry people they've known for a very long time, or people that have been there like circle for a while and all that. But let me use him as an example. He's single. He's an associate professor. He's an author. His book is coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's an amazing singer. He's 29. He's living life like Jacqueline Carr. She's 24, 25.
Mhm.
What they call this guy? There's another one that is even 20. Is in the US too. There are so many guys like that. Young chaps doing amazing things in ministry, but
Mhm.
haven't gotten married. So there's no managing home front or anything. So how do you prepare yourself mentally when it comes to the person you're getting married to, and say, okay, I'm this big pop star like Tim Godfrey is not married. So how do you manage and balance it? How do you have that conversation that fiancé, I
It,
am,
it,
you know,
that
pastor.
one I know is even much deeper
Okay.
than somebody who already got married and got there, right? You know
Yeah.
why that one is much deeper?
Mm.
Because it's either you're marrying somebody, like you said, who you have known before
Before, or
from way
God
back.
says this is the person.
Exactly. Now, for some of the people I've, talked to,
Mm-hmm.
their thing is always, how do I know right now with all these things going on around me that this person is actually going to be in it for real?
Mm.
And do I have enough strength or enough mental capability to withstand the challenges that may come with marriage?
Mm.
Or is this the right time? Those are some of the questions. Well, for somebody who's single, man, I think you got to do a lot of prayers.
Mm.
If you're that famous, you have to do a lot of prayers.
Mm.
Prayers in the sense that now you're searching.
Mm.
The question now is, should I marry somebody who is into the music, even if he's not a singer, like Tasha Cobbs is married to what's his name? He's
Music,
not
her a
exact.
music director.
Yeah, he's not a singer, but he understands music. That's a
Yeah.
good thing. But there are cases where that has also gone wrong too.
Mm.
So that's
Or
why I
marrying your
said,
manager.
or marrying your, that one too has gone wrong in some cases too. Because I've heard, in fact, there's one that I know in Toronto here who the wife was always causing the scene at his events.
Mm.
So, in fact, that guy's ministry finally wrecked.
Mm.
So those are things that worries you. But in that case, I would say, you know, find and pray.
Mm.
Find and pray because it's your duty as a man to find a wife.
Mm.
Find and pray. And if it's not the one God has ordained for you, be sure to move on because your life and your whole future is at stake here.
Okay, bros. But you're talking from the perspective of a man. From a
Yeah, from
woman's perspective,
if it's the other way
she's in
around,
her 30s. She's a big star.
yeah.
She's doing well for herself.
Hmm. No, now woman go the answer that one now because me I don't know because now that's a that's
Oh
a
my
totally
god.
good. Okay, well let's constructively look at it. For
Mm-hmm.
example, Tasha Cobbs wasn't married before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before she met this guy. So
Mm-hmm.
now the one of the golden rule I know about marriage is marry people within your circle. Within your
Mm-hmm.
circle could mean somebody who knows somebody, as in not, it's always more advisable, not like somebody who's totally neutral. You
Mm.
understand? It could be maybe a friend of a friend, but it's more advisable this day that somebody should actually know this person that you're
Okay.
going into a relationship with. That's one
Okay.
of the golden rules that I know. For
Okay.
example, I talked about myself. Somebody knew her before I knew her, you know. So that's a little bit of safety there while you still pray. It could
Mm.
be okay. Well, you could meet the person at a concert. Some people say, okay, they met their wife at a concert. Some said they met their wife at a function. Everybody meets people in different ways. But bottom line is whoever you meet, their um their whatever has to align with what you're doing. Because if a Tasha Cobbs that is as popular as that, for example, maybe marries a CEO of a company, where is the schedule going to meet now?
Well, it might make it available. I think one of the things that you said is prayer. prayer can also expose the person, because some people pretend. I remember
True.
someone was really pretending. Like, the guy would say, oh, he will do this, he will do that for this lady, and they got married, and he was the one. Once they call, he'd be like, hello, sorry, she's not going to be available.
But why was he pretending though? What was the reason though?
Because you never know who the devil sends to the person. So the devil wanted to truncate a ministry, and
True.
sent a fine bubble that was making money and was giving her what she needed to hear at that point.
Yeah.
So they will call the lady's phone. He will pick it up and say, oh, she's not available, she's not this, or she's double booked, or she's this. And she's preparing, and she calls the people and like, oh, sorry, so I wanted to confirm. And no, your husband canceled a couple of days ago. And you'll be like, you can't be traveling up and down. I have to be at home. So prayer also exposes pretentious people too. It's very, very important.
I think that even for me, that's the number one on the list. You gotta pray, pray, pray. Pray and pray and pray. But again, remember, we're in the generation that we're in now. Everything is like drive-through. Everybody wants to just drive through it and get there like that. So people have, even for music ministers, some people have they've replaced the place of prayer with wanting to be known. So anyways, that's another for another day. But in the place of marriage, especially when, like you said, you're already famous and you're not married, man, you gotta pray, because only God knows what's in the heart of everyone anyways. You know, for us, even when we first started, my wife used to look at me from the side of her eyes. Well, you're here now. If you want to take off, you can take off. You know how women are. You know, you just because you got married doesn't mean that it would start. You still need years of being together, understanding. No. Yeah, it wouldn't just be smooth like that. I mean, at first she needed to know if, okay, maybe I was in need for real, or maybe I just flew down here to get the pali now, you know. And so I had to now prove, you know, let her know that, let her heart be at peace. We're in this for real. So marriage is a complicated thing, especially for somebody who's famous. Why do you think somebody like Vashon Mitchell is still flying around and still not married? Maybe, who knows? We don't know what he's dealing with. The man probably hasn't been able to make a choice, because we only see the outward, but only God sees the inward, right?
But it's not everybody that has to be married, though.
True, but does everyone have the grace not to be married?
Well, you know, God has called everybody separately. Like, God has called the McDowell to have 5 children, and God has called Kirk Franklin to have like 4 or 5 children. Tamela Man had their own story. I heard a story too, very, 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 very peculiar story too.
Yeah.
So I think to each person's ministry, but I believe that once you know your ministry, once you know what God has called you to do, you should follow through with it. If you marry someone and you know in your heart that you will not be able to support the person through the journey, don't pretend. I think it's not fair on the person's part. Well, some people, the devil always use them too, but it's not fair on the person's part. Like, let the person know, I will not feel comfortable for you to travel up and down.
But then, you know, there's this other part of marriage that you also have to think about too. If this person, for example, the single guy you're talking about, many of them have the female counterpart to deal with, if you know what I mean.
Y'all just need Jesus.
Oh, look at you.
Because
how long will, okay, for a young man like Jonathan McReynolds, you telling me that he's not having to deal with that probably on a daily basis?
Well, we will actually have a sit down with Jonathan McReynolds and ask him.
I can guarantee you that.
You know, I had that sit down with Tolu when I had him on the show. Tolu is a US-based artist. He was a big pop star in Nigeria then. And God said, this is not what I want for you. And while he was in the world, Tolu rocked the world. He was the ladies' man. He was everything. But when it came to Christ, he said everything was rubbish. Like, it didn't matter. Like, it didn't make sense. Whatever it is, that's all the accolades, all the whatnots. But I think that discipline also takes its place too. Like
Mm.
being a disciplined man or woman, irrespective of your film.
But
Because
some people have gotten it into some unfortunate circumstance, not because they're not disciplined. I've had, when I say tons of stories of things that has happened to people, not because they planned for it to happen. You
that's
know,
why
just
the Bible says we should watch and pray.
I
I'm
know
not trying
we
to.
all watch
I'm
and
not
pray,
trying to
but
water
you
down
know,
this conversation, and the reason why is because I feel like these are the
mm,
kind of things that we don't talk about as
that's right.
Christians.
That's
We don't
right.
talk
That's
about
right.
that. We don't talk
That's
about
right.
sex. We don't talk about how to handle the female clan as a
Very correct.
gospel artist. And
Very
even the
correct.
male clan, because you see people that toast some people. I had a guest one time and she said there was this man, and she put on her Instagram that day, on her Insta story. The man came to a store and was asking out, and he saw wedding ring on hand.
Mm,
So,
mm.
as much as discipline is very important, also, some people would still not hear word, even if you write here tattoo "I am married" on my forehead,
It's
like they
true. I mean, it
they
doesn't
would not.
necessarily. You're right. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that marriage will cure that, because you can be married and still be, doing that. So it doesn't mean that marriage is the answer to that. Self-discipline and and knowing who you are in Christ is key to some of those things.
Mm,
So
mm,
single or married, it can happen to anyone, single or married,
yes,
if you
yes.
don't put yourself in a very good place. And yeah, so, but again, for people who aren't married and they're that famous, man, they need plenty of Jesus in their,
Yeah,
because
and one of the
there's
things that I would say for the married will be that
yes,
you have to get to a point where you can be vulnerable to your wife. And I think
yes,
that's one problem a lot of African men don't do. They like
mm,
covering everything. They are the
yes,
CEO, that master, everything. And this is why I'm
Mhm,
saying this.
mhm,
There was a time that someone was having that particular issue, and it was until he confessed his wife. He was having what they call it. So there was this lady in church that was really beautiful, sings amazingly well. They were both in choir. He was married, but
mm,
he didn't know how to say how will I put it? He didn't know how to say, he didn't know how to take his eyes off. And he
mm,
was struggling with this loss in his heart until he confessed his
mhm,
wife. And
mhm,
and the wife was mature. Now there's some people that are not mature enough to handle things like that. So
mhm,
that's why,
mhm.
like most of my pastors would say, have someone you're accountable to. As a music minister,
Absolutely.
you must have somebody you're
Yes,
accountable to. It is very important. As a
yes,
family
yes,
man,
yes,
family woman, it's very
yes,
important that a
yes.
Christian have someone you're accountable to, that you can say, daddy, there's one sister in church that is making me feel this certain way. If your wife is
Mm,
not mature enough to handle things like that, but if your wife is mature
mhm,
enough to, I don't see any reason why you should not say, dear, please be praying for me. Oh, there's this sister in church, so maybe and once you guys talk about it, pray about it, you have already broken
mhm.
down the edge of the enemy trying to crack into your
Correct,
home. And not like
correct,
you are
correct.
feeding it in your DM, and she's like,
Yes.
pastor, you are very, very nice. I like the suit you wore. You're very, and once you begin to entertain it, you become the
Yeah.
entertainer by the devil.
I mean, a clinical example is Kirk Franklin when he came out some years back to say that he was struggling with pornography. Everyone
Mm,
remembers that. It was something even the wife didn't know he was dealing with.
mm,
But
mm.
finally, talking about stuff also helps to expose the
Yes,
devil. But
yes.
for the most part, like you said, from Africa, where we come from, we always feel like the macho man.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk. Oh, I can handle it. I can deal with it until things eventually, crash land. So I even sometimes talking is even much more helpful than praying in some cases. In some cases, when you speak out, and
Yeah.
you tell people what you're dealing with, you'll be able to get help. I mean, I believe since the time he came out on Oprah to say that, he probably already, knocked that aspect of his life, completely out. So
Yeah.
I
Also,
believe we can be, I'm a firm believer of being accountable
yeah.
and being, I have somebody I constantly call to say,
Okay.
this is what's going on.
Mm.
This is what do you think? If you don't do that, then you're just all over the place. You're
And
just doing what you like.
having a great relationship with the Holy Spirit also really, really matters. Because God has already seen you while you were even thinking of that bad thing. So why not just
Hmm.
talk to him? Like, make
Exactly.
God your best friend. Like, he
Exactly.
just makes life easy for everybody. Okay, so
Exactly.
your idea strategist said most women can't handle that. They may be thinking, what do you see in her? And they may become insecure. Yes, you're very correct. And that's why I said, if your wife is not mature enough, she cannot undo a couple of things. That's why you
Hmm.
need to have someone you're accountable to, so that
Yeah.
you can say, daddy, this is what, mommy, this is what I'm going through, this is this. But I want you to talk about, you give an example that's really, really baffled me, because I remember that I had one or two guests that shared things like that with me when I said life. Well, it didn't have a name then. When I had the night show, then I still have the night show till now. But when I had it then, I
Yeah.
remember that I had two different people that are. Let me keep quiet. They're popular people, and part of the things that happened to them was not having a supportive person in ministry,
Mm.
causing a
Mm.
scene in ministrations, this, that, and caused for a separation now.
Hmm. Hmm.
How do you deal with a non-supportive spouse?
I know that's hard. That's very hard
Mm,
because if you have a non-supportive spouse, that means your ministry is as good as gone.
mm,
Because like what I said earlier on, you probably will end up getting disgraced at your shows.
mm,
But again, maybe at that stage you guys would need counseling,
mm,
maybe some form of sitting down to
mm,
understand, okay, where is she coming from? Is
mm,
it that she wants you more at home? How
mm,
can we find the balance? Should I cut down on my schedule so I
mm,
can spend more time with her? If
mm,
if if that's where she's reasoning from, then you can, I mean, we can talk like two
mm,
civil people or seek counseling. I
mm,
mean, these things are quite different with a lot of people. It's different from somebody who do not want you to do ministry at all.
mm,
Now that's a dead end. But if the lady's thing is okay, I would love to see you more at home, or I would
mm,
love to do this, then we can meet somewhere and still have a wonderful relationship. Maybe I should cut down the schedule a little bit. I mean,
mm.
not every invitation you have to accept anyways, you know.
True.
Yeah, maybe we can cut it down a little bit, spend more time together, spend more time with the kids, and probably from there you can even make her even more happy to the point that she'll be like, you know what, why don't you could take more or whatever, because at the end of the day two people are one here, not two different human beings. So,
Mm,
and when we both do things together like that, we glorify God as one. So
mm,
there can be a place of conversation like that. But like I said, it's different from marrying somebody who just does not want you to do it. Then you might as well just pack up that ministry because you
mm,
ain't going anywhere.
mm,
So, and you will be accountable for it
mm,
because everything that God gives to us, He requires us to account for it. Just like when He came back to ask the people of the talent, what did you do
mm,
with it? The other one said, I went to heed it. The other one said, I traded with it. So everything, every gift that God gives to you, He
mm,
expects you to bless other people with it.
mm,
That's the number one point. Bless people, not to be famous. Bless people. Be a blessing. So He expects that, and He expects you to multiply. I mean, there are other parts of the gifts He wants you to expect, but at the same time, it's not expecting you to, cause the home front to suffer. So
mm,
conversations are very, very, very important.
mm,
So be
mm,
careful who you marry. Be very
mm,
careful who you marry. That's the
mm,
word out there.
mm. Mm.
Because even the chap I was talking about, I mean, now it was so bad on the last show that he went to
Mm.
that the promoters were so fed up.
Mm.
Now he's off the radar now, even. It's
Mm.
completely off the radar. So I felt things could have been done, differently. Um, I don't know. I know I can only speak. I mean, women have the things that they struggle with too. We can't just sweep it under the carpet. You have to understand the woman, as well too.
But another thing I wanted to ask is, if a man is going through a hard time, let's say like you said, Franklin going through probably sexual issues or whatnot, and is in ministry,
Mm.
and the way he wants to curb it is to have his wife go with him to every ministration.
No, that doesn't solve anything.
Mm.
That doesn't solve anything.
Mm.
Just because you have your wife, your wife can be standing beside you and you're still looking lustfully, or you're still having ideas in your head.
Mm.
That really doesn't solve anything.
Mm.
It is a matter of getting back to the Word of God and curing what needs to be cured and taking care of what needs to be taken. If you're dealing with lust, sit down with your wife or sit down with the person you're accountable to and ask the person, what can we do? Let's pray together. Bible says we should confess our faults one to
One
another.
to
Find
another.
somebody who you trust. Pray with the person. I could be dealing with lust. The next person is dealing with stealing. Everyone has issues.
Yeah.
Everyone has issues. No one has it all in there. So if that's why we never judge people. Oh, one pastor failed. Like in fact, there's something I used to say, and people used to look at me and laugh. I said, if I see my pastor on top of a woman, I will still go to church the next day and listen to his message. Preach, because I'm not his judge. I'm not given to judge him and all that kind of thing. So people should get to that level where we all know that we have issues, but like we said, be accountable to find someone that you can agree with in prayer. It could be your wife. Your wife may not be spiritually up there. It could be a spiritual person that you can, agree with in prayer. But saying that she should always be with you at every minute, that doesn't solve anything. That doesn't solve anything. In fact, in some cases, that might even be your trigger. And so for some men, so
it could even make them know how to even cheat on her while she's beside them, either at home or there.
exactly.
So it just makes everything easier for most people.
Yep. We've had cases where people are standing beside their wife and somebody is slipping a phone number to a music minister. And I've seen so many things in this my short lifetime. So one of the things I told God is that once I get married, I'm married. I just need to be extra careful. There are some things that prayer doesn't take care of. You just
You
have to
have to
have
be
that self
intentional about it.
intentionally discipline. You don't pray your way out of those things. Prayer doesn't save you while you're there. And for us, one of the things that has also helped us that I want to put out there is, as you go for your ministration as a music minister, do you pray with your wife? One of the things we do together as a couple, every time I come back from ministry, we pray together. Every time I come back, we pray together because it's a spiritual thing. We cover the family, we cover the kids. Do you do that before you go? Do you do that? It's also a way to foster spiritual unity among the family too. So it's something I would advise people to do out there if you're married. That's another way to spiritually carry your wife along so she doesn't feel like you're a lone ranger, right? You're the one doing everything. You're the spiritual man. You're the superman. You're the schedule take. You're the one that takes the schedule. You're the one that, no. It doesn't work like that. So we do that. Every time I come back, we kneel down together. We pray. We put the family under the care of God.
We celebrate your wife. We celebrate her. We celebrate her. And she's doing good work. We are seeing all the things. She's doing good work. You too, you know that you're not trying to, but she's doing very well,
I know I'm trying though. I'm doing my best though.
Oh my
And
God.
I also want to point out here that one of the way to also, if you're married as a music minister is be intentional about your participation in the activities of the house. You are a music minister to people, not to your wife. You are a husband to your wife, and you're a father to your kids. So at home, I'm not a music minister. I'm a father, and I'm a husband. So I gotta meet the needs of the kids. My kids will come back from school. We sit down. We look at their homework and all whatnot. Those are the responsibilities that you have to do. Don't expect your wife to start cleaning, cooking, bathe the kids, everything and all whatnot. So what are you doing? You're just
I'm
a music
rehearsing.
minister. Yeah, you're rehearsing. I'm in rehearsal. I'm a music minister. It doesn't work like that, you know. You have to be intentional about your participation, and those things also make her feel that she's in the right place. You know, she's in the right place, and she wants to feel that connection with you. That you're not just all about what you're doing, but you understand your role as the head of the family. You're ministering to people, but you got to minister to your family too.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you minister in carnal things, which is also to cook in some cases and put food on the table. If it's to, like, I don't get back home sometimes and wait for her to go heat up the food and give it to me. I can do that myself. It's no big deal, you know. So make the burden light on her, and you do these things, you will get all the love from a woman. I'm telling you, you
True.
get all the love.
True. True. People, Mr. Osas has given us spreadsheets of knowledge, and I hope that people will learn, listen, and understand that it's not just by being the big star, but it's also by being an humble person. Humility is very important when it comes to you being a minister.
And just to add to it,
Debbie,
too,
okay, sir.
make sure you celebrate her all the time, not only on her birthdays. I think people know that about me. In fact, some people have said I talk too much about my wife. Celebrate her all the time. Celebrate her all the time. If it's a he, celebrate him all the time. Make them feel that they are even more important than you are.
Hallelujah. Debbie Olushoga said, self-discipline and loyalty is very important. Yes, you have to have a united front to your spouse before you go and have a united front, because she can just stand up and say, I remember I was due to Dr. Dike Olukoya's message, and he said there was this bishop in Lagos. I think the church was like a 5,000 seater or 20,000. I can't remember how many seater. And the wife just stood up and said, so you people think that your bishop is very, very clean. It's not a saint, though. You think he's a saint? He's an adulterer. This man is not worth anything. And she said a lot.
Wow.
She said a lot about the husband.
Wow.
The 5 or 10,000 seater church became 120. Because people said, if his wife can say this about him,
yes,
who are we
yes,
not to believe?
yes, that's true.
So it is very important that, like you said, make her feel special. Don't take advantage of the fact that she's quiet. Oh, you tell her to do this. Oh, hey babe, you have to help me this. Oh, my back is paining me. And she's the alpha, omega, back and front, everything. And you don't take time out to say, you know what? This week, just sit down on the chair and watch TV. I will
Yes,
do anything you want.
yes,
Just little drops of water, little grains of sand make a mighty ocean and a bounteous land.
yes.
Little seeds of kindness, little words of love make a heart merry. It just makes the person feel special. It doesn't have to be your wife, even if it's your fiancé, even if it's your friend, that is the one that helps you, goes around when you're having this ministration. And we have friends like that. Let's not lie to each other. We have friends that you are doing this program, the person is there, or even if the person is not there, supporting you wherever the person is. This is
Yes.
one day,
Yes.
celebrate that person. Say thank
That's right.
you for
That's
always
right.
being there. You know, There are days where I might not have everything, but I just go to my Insta story. Like yesterday, I just look at all my friends that are doing amazing stuff, have businesses, have this, and I started repost. I started screen munching their pages, put on my
mm,
Insta story, patronize
mm,
this, buy from this, do this, do
mm,
that. They didn't have
mm,
to tell me anything, but I
mm.
know that they are doing this. They don't have to probably support me or anything, but for me,
Yeah,
I see
yeah.
it as a way to channel. Oh, okay, this is the good thing my friends are doing,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll support them. I'll let them know that okay, I see what you do. I celebrate what you do. This is this. So for me, I have friends that do a while going. I have friends that do clothes. I have friends that sell bag, perfume, shoe, whatever it is. So it will not take $5 from me. It's not like they have
Yeah.
sent me any of the things, but it just shows that okay, you're seeing people that are around you and you're celebrating them, even if they don't do anything for you.
Yeah.
But if you see people that do stuff for you, celebrate them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It won't cost you anything. Just do it. It's
And
very
some people
important.
don't know how to switch from ministry mode to family mode.
Mm,
It's a difficulty for some people. I
mm.
mean, they'll come back
Hi, yeah,
from
TV.
ministry, and then they'll still be talking about ministry. Well, you can talk about it for a little while, but you still be quoting scriptures and all that. Meanwhile, maybe your wife has maybe a need to just sit down with you and watch a movie or
Mm,
have a chat about her day at work or things like
mm,
that. So you must be able to know how to switch those modes at every time so that everything will not just be about ministry, because it's almost like you're talking about yourself alone, you know.
mm,
So that's a good way to have a balance. And where it's a learning curve for even me too. That's
mm,
why I constantly look at other people and see or hear what they do and see the positives that I can get from there and apply them because no one knows it all.
mm,
But God requires you to have a successful ministry and also an amazing family too. I
mm,
mean, my wife's birthday was just last week.
mm.
I kept thinking in my head, what could I do differently? For a month, I kept thinking, oh, you
Mm.
buy the usual thing, you buy shoe, but no, I said, no, I want to do something different. And by the grace of God, I was able to pull out something different. I wrote a letter and I read it
Ah,
openly in front of the
ah,
church.
ah, ah, I miss the letter days. Hey, hey, hey. Mr. Osas giving us some love nuggets. Woo,
Uh, uh,
hallelujah.
and I read it in front of the whole church. And at least I was able to get tears out of her eyes on Sunday. So I was a satisfied man.
Oh, people. Ah, dear future husband, are you hearing this? Don't buy flower. I don't like flower. Let me just say
And
it.
I do just to say also that it doesn't mean that our relationship is the most perfect or we
No,
have our
nobody is
own.
perfect. If you are perfect, you
Exactly.
have
We
been with
have our
Christ.
own. Exactly. We're just saying these things we're saying are just things that can help us, be better, things that can help us
For me,
manage the home front.
I'm just putting it out there. I don't like flower. I'm not a farmer.
I'm sending you flower this week. Oh,
uh,
just be expecting it.
uh, me,
I'm sending you a bouquet of flower this week. Oh,
that's the thing. Like, it's very important to also know your partner's love language and
yes,
your
yeah.
children's children language. Some children don't like toys. They just like daddy to be at home. They just like mommy to be and it's the truth.
It is the truth. It is the truth.
They
It
just
is the
want mommy
truth.
or daddy to be at home. They don't want to hear anything. They don't want to see you do, because the moment you start substituting what they call it, the moment you start substituting gifts for their attention, the one thing
Yes,
a man has to give his family and his children is his attention.
that's right. That's right. That's right.
You have to be present. You don't have to own everything in the world, but they know that when they sit down with you, they can talk hours and say that,
Yes.
and you're like, yes, I understand.
And let me give a real talk here. There was a time where my schedule was so crazy and I
Mm,
wasn't seeing my kids a lot. I had to also slip back and have a chat with my wife because I was ministering like every weekend, almost every weekend. So, and I wasn't seeing my kids a lot. My son would ask me all the time, "Where are you headed to? You're going to another?" Like this talk is always, "You're going to another." So I had to have a rethink one time, and I'm like, "No, this is not right. This boy needs my attention, needs my time as well too, needs the daddy son time or daddy
Because
chat
he's
with
watching
me."
you.
Exactly,
He's watching you.
exactly.
He's
And he will model some of his attitude according to what he sees as well too. So it's we just got to constantly know how to slip back, talk to ourselves,
create a balance.
find ways. Exactly, find ways to do things better. There's always going to be something to correct, something to work on, something to do better. And never think that you are in an island where you know it all. There's always something somebody has that can help you. When William, like I mentioned William McDowell, when I noticed that he had his, I'm like, man, gosh, how does this guy do it? I have to get some tips from him because he's doing it well. Obviously, I would think. So there's got to be something for us all to learn. So I slipped back and I trimmed down a bit at that time, and then find time to. It could be in the night, it could be in the morning, it could be when he comes back from school. Okay, let's go for a walk or whatever that can help as well in terms of that time with him. Yeah, it's worth the time actually. It's worth it.
Oh my God. Now we have less than 1 minute to the end of the show, but I want to say a
Wow.
big thank you to Mr. Osas. Today has been so much fun. You see, they
Yes.
said laughter is the better with Tiali. We thank God for this particular one. The first one was very, very
I
glorious,
know.
but
This one was bottom
this was
pot.
awesome. This was awesome, and I pray that God will continue to keep your ministry. You continue to go
Amen.
from glory to glory in the name of Jesus. So we send
Amen.
my love to your family. I will say
Thank
God
you so
bless
much.
you.
Thank you so much.
You can always um subscribe to his YouTube channel, follow him on Instagram, follow him on Facebook. Um, you don't wanna miss this. You don't wanna miss him. I'll play his song. This is one of his new song is free, but this is one of his old songs. He Gets the Glory, and where I released Minister Osas. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Aanu Adedire. Forget to follow Don't forget to follow us on Life Matters Aanu Adedire. And Mr. Osas will be expecting the video from you. So we're saying that all our guests will send us like a few seconds video on congratulating us for our 1 year anniversary. So we're expecting your message or video. Either one works.
Thank you. Thank
All
you
right.
guys. Thank you. God bless. Thank you.
Okay, people, God bless you. I say a big thank to everyone that watched today. God bless you. God keep you. Don't forget it's our anniversary month. So yes, the anniversary, and we're super excited for what God has and how God has brought us thus far. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Aanu Adedire, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Life Matters to Aanu Adedire. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Life Matters to Aanu Adedire. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.